up, you guys? How you doing? Marty Schwartz here from GuitarJams.com. Really fun one today. It's real kind of messy, sloppy, kind of jangly power chord thing going on. A great technique to learn. Hopefully I do it justice. Thanks for hanging around, watching, supporting, all that. I've got more guitar lesson focused materials in the links below this box. You can try my website out for free for 2 weeks. Anything like that, I really appreciate it. But enough of that stuff. We're going to just zoom in right now and learn a bunch of stuff and hopefully have a good time rocking along. And let's rock this. So that little, sometimes he's not playing at all, and that's what the bass player's playing, but it'll be fun for you to do it. And you could even do this on acoustic. So that first thing, we're basically just, it's a G power chord, but you can hear it's like a jangly G power chord, so it's not, but you could do it that way, and it would still sound pretty cool. Like that kind of thing. But what we're going to do is, we'll do it this way. Middle finger on that 3rd fret of the low E. A string's muted. You get that open D in there and that open G in there. You could even get away with that if you don't hear that B and high E string. So I'm just going down to that F. But what I'm hearing in that G chord is I'm hearing that 3rd fret of the B string right there. And my ring finger is muting the high E. So there's quite a bit of muting going on. But so when you play that, you're hearing this. The A string's muted. The open D and the open G are in there, and then that B's in there, and then the high E is getting muted by my ring finger. And then I'm lowering down to the 1st fret while I'm still keeping my ring finger there. So what we're going on with that bass line, which it's really fun to play, and if you can palm mute it with your right palm, as opposed to, then you get some cool sound in there. And so I'm going like this. I'm hammering from the 1 to the 3 on that low E string, and then going da-da, so hammer da-da, hammer da-da, da-da-da, da-da. Na, 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 na. And so when it goes into the next part, what I find is going to work is actually ring finger there instead of middle finger. And you could do that for the whole thing, but you'd have to put your pinky there, which to me is more awkward. But for the next part, it's actually easier to have your ring finger there. So what's going on is you've got this ring finger muting that A string still. Got that open D and G, and then what we're going to need to do is add our index finger to the first fret of the B string and the third fret of the B string. And the rhythm for that would be just a nice jangly doom ja jooga jooga joo ja jooga jooga. Like da 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 with the jangly. So the next time through, there's a bass solo going on, and so you got diddle-a-doo, diddle-a-doo, diddle-a-doo. You know, so sometimes he's doing some fills, which kind of revolves around, you know, the G minor pentatonic kind of bluesy stuff, like. But really, you could do fills, you could improvise. I don't have exact licks to show you for that particular part. But you still have this. You know, that thing is still there. And I recommend you using that for other G kinds of things. Because it's very, very good. We like it. Okay, so then the next thing that's going to happen, though, is it modulates up a whole step. So where we've been playing the song up to this point in the key of G, we do all the same moves up a whole step, where it would be the key of A. And we do that by playing an A power chord. And then this is actually really fun, and I think it's just a very natural thing on the guitar, is this key of A power chord, and then that third fret of the low E. You know, and that's the key they actually start in when they play it live or played it live a bunch of different times. They started in this key instead of G, which makes all the moves I showed you totally irrelevant. If you were to join the Who right now, you wouldn't even be playing it that original way. But you'd be playing it this way, the way I'm showing you right now. So A power chord, all the same rhythm, jing, jenga, jing, jenga, jing, jenga, jing, jenga, jing, jenga. And we're just adding that right there. So when you're holding that A power chord, you can add the third fret of the B string to get that same sus sound. And so the rhythm for that would be the A, just an A with that sus. So from the A, it actually goes up a half step, which is another modulation, because it's the same thing going on, but now up a half step. So you could do a B flat power chord, and that sus is going to be right there, or you cover it like that on the 3rd fret. But probably the easiest thing, if you're actually going to do this next modulation, I think probably the best, just because of the key, would be to play this bar chord or a power chord. For that verse part. Now, you could do it right here. But that lower note's not going to really work. You could just rock the B flat, but then you're going to have a bass player go. This is right there, which is a little funky. You're going to be able to pull it off better with just power chords on the 6th fret. And then that same sus that we did on A, it would be up a half step, but you get the root right in there on the 1st fret of the A string. So they're all variations on the same thing. You've got a thing in G. It does that. And then you've got the same thing in A. And then you've got the same thing in B flat, a half step. Alright, so finally it goes up to C now. Another modulation. And this is where it gets real kind of crazy, a lot of crazy stuff. So one thing you could do, you got a C, you could even do a full C bar chord. Underneath it, you got... But there's stuff like... And then there's... And then a cool blues thing that you could do that mimics those background vocals at the end. So it's basically like a C and then an F. I was playing the upper register, but you could do the whole chord even. C, F, and that's the blues thing right there. So it's slid up, 11th fret on the B, 12th fret on the G. Then back to that F, C, 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 F, F, blues, F, C. Now when you're doing that, I'm really just focused on these two notes. But if you played it kind of like a G minor 7 chord, it's gonna work. So that's a lot of key changes for a rock song. You got G, then you got A, then you got B flat, and then finally C. was it. Thanks for rocking with me. Kind of like I said, like a jangly power chord experience. So hopefully you got something from it. A little more difficult to teach because of that kind of messy sound, but fun nonetheless. And thanks for that extra support, checking out the links below, trying the website out. I don't think you will regret it, and I truly thank you for that extra support. But this is where we say goodbye for now, and meet up again in another video somewhere down the line. So thanks again, and we'll see you later.